Good day and welcome to a new episode of Hammer D20, the show that wishes it had better skills at haggling and bartering. My name is Steven Sobot and I will be your guide. Today we're going to focus on the world of garage sales and buy and sell markets within Hamilton. See, as the summer starts to creep up on us, as you look outside, the temperature keeps reminding us that summer's around the corner. There is one thing on people's mind, and that's Harper Garden Center's summer sale from May 19th to June 1st. You can get 30% off of sod, probably, and roses, probably. All right, esoteric reference to local Hamilton business, check. Breaking the fourth wall, check. Man, I'm just burning through these. But seriously, with summer comes great non-jacketed activities, and one such activity is the Penny Pinchers Classic garage sales. See, whenever people are finished spring cleaning, or they're on the verge of moving, or they just want to get rid of stuff they don't want and want to make a couple bucks, they usually host a garage sale. I don't think I need to explain the concept of what a garage sale is to you. It's kind of with the advent of suburbia, garage sales kind of came with it. Garage sales, additionally, though, have a whole culture behind this process, from the art of bartering and haggling to the concept of the early bird resellers who show up very early, almost before the time they're supposed to show up, looking to snipe out rare and exotic items to be sold for a higher price online or at a store. And it takes real guts to be good at a garage sale. Or, if you want my secret technique at how to utilize a garage sale, you first start a TV show and bring a camera and ask for permission to record their stall and, get some footage of what they're selling and then kind of start a report. And after about 10 minutes, they'll hopefully will give you a couple bucks off the thing you're hoping to buy. It works for me. It should work for all of you. But seriously, where else really can you find a handful of retro video games, a pair of baseball caps, an antique beer stein, and a caricature of yours truly, other than a garage sale? I implore you to find somewhere that you get all this stuff for less than $50. And while people can host their own individual sales at their homes, many communities conglomerate to make a bigger sale in a public area, attracting larger crowds and thus more items sold. If you look around Kijiji or other online boards in Hamilton, you'll find a new community or charity garage sale happening each weekend, pretty much. As a matter of fact, on Saturday, May 28th, was the City Kids fundraising garage sale that happened at Montgomery Park at 1570 Main Street East. I went over there, spoke to its coordinator, and got a bit of an interview with some of the stalls and checked it out to give you an idea as to what you might expect there, or if you are interested in attending or setting up as a seller at one of these places, what it takes to be exactly that. Stephen, over to you. Thank you, Stephen. Welcome to Montgomery Park. Now, I had interviewed head coordinator of the sale, William Heimbecker, about his involvement with the sale, what it was all about, and other similar questions. But at the time, the wind picked up and really messed up the recording audio, as you can hear. I guess what would you say is your title?
Well, we're just volunteers.
So I'm just going to report on what he said inside the studio, and hopefully that will suffice. Sorry, William. This event was the City Kids fundraising community garage sale held at Montgomery Park, located at 1570 Main Street East. The sales intent was to raise funds for the charity City Kids, a Hamilton-based charity that looks to help kids in low-income and poverty situations. Him and his sister organized this and have been doing so for 7 years. This is their 39th garage sale they've organized throughout the years. Despite him having 2 heart attacks and a blind eye, he won't let that stop him, as he believes very strongly in the City Kids Foundation and that every child deserves a chance to achieve their dreams, so every bit counts. He's hoping that, in the future, the city eases off the cost of renting the space, since it is for charity, or is looking for people to help donate the cost of the space rental. If you're interested in helping their cause or just setting up a spot in future sales, you can contact William at nighthawk14@yahoo.ca. Prices for spots range from $15 to $25 depending on the spot's size. There are 22 stalls and sellers at the sale, with goods ranging from household items to vintage collectibles to sports paraphernalia to even a local caricature artist. As you saw earlier, I got a caricature of myself drawn, so I spoke to the artist, David Beresford, about himself as he was drawing me.
Well, what I'm doing today is live caricatures, or I call myself I cartoon you, because I cartoon people what they look like as caricatures, basically.
Is this the first time doing this, or?
No, I've actually done this a number of times before in the past.
Okay.
So most of the times it's been great. There's been slower days here and there, but today it turned out to be fantastic busy today. So
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here today.
How long have you been drawing and painting and or whatnot?
Well, I've been drawing professionally at festivals and different live events and birthday parties and different things like that since 2006, almost 16 years now.
Okay, cool.
Coming up next month, actually, will be 16 years.
Nice.
But I've been doing all kinds of different art, mainly drawing paintings since I was a wee little kid. So, but it's good to be back out again.
No, exactly, Raul. Thank God.
After being locked up for so long. So, and it's a perfect day to come out today. I used to do craft fairs, in different local locations. So I'm just trying to expand as much as possible. So, ready? There you go.
Oh, fantastic. I love it.
That's Steven right there.
Yeah, there I am.
Yeah.
I spoke to some of the other vendors, such as Joan Berger, who's got a stall where she specializes in vintage records and other music items. What are you selling at your stall, Katrina?
Well, I have a smorgasbord of stuff. I kind of am a big fan of records, and I have a lot of them, and I'd like to get more, but I have to ship some out. So I've started there, but now I'm also trying to get rid of some more vintage things that I've picked up here and there and give them other homes.
Fantastic.
Put them on a journey. Always making space, always refiling things and rediscovering things, and then realizing you haven't played a record for 10 years and why do you still have it? Or in my case, maybe 20 years.
Yeah.
But it's so fun to do like a sale like this because you talk to real people and you see them get excited about something that you might share that interest, but they're really peaking, and then I feel so good that it's going to a good home. And it's on another journey.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
William also mentioned that they are organizing another sale at Bayfront Park on Saturday, June 25th between 8 a.m. and 3 p.m., this time for the Cancer Awareness Charity. That's all for now. Back to you, Stephen. Oh, thanks, Stephen. Before we move on to our next segment, let's take a short break. See you soon. Welcome back. Now, in addition to the garage sales, Hamilton has a lot of buy and sell used pawn shops and thrift stores that I've mentioned before in previous episodes. But it's also a place that is home to a lot of flea markets, places that are basically big open warehouses or indoor settings where vendors can rent out a stall and sell their goods, both new and used, present and retro. Probably some of the more popular flea markets in Hamilton are the aptly named Hamilton Flea Market, Hagler's Flea Market, and the Ottawa Street Antique Mall. But down in the north end of town, a new market has appeared and is trying to get a foothold into the business. The Pop Culture Market, owned and ran by Rodrigo Raquio, has been running monthly or bi-monthly on 20 Land Street, just north of Burlington Street. So I took a trip down to the Pop Culture Market to talk to Rodrigo about what he's planning to do with it and what it's all about. Stephen, over to you. Well, thank you, Stephen. And let me be the first to ever introduce you all to the Pop Culture Market. Let's go in.
The pop culture market is actually a recollection of different things from the past, present, and future. We can say it's something like a kind of, in a way, avant-garde. Of things actually whatever you are into, like it could be like whatever thing like in your childhood, like if you remember cartoons, comics, video games, like a kind of a music or anything like that, like that's pop culture market. I mean, you tend to lose the trajectory of the things that you were following once, and then suddenly kind of like they reappear again, and they bring you that sensation of nostalgia, right? when you're a kid, you know, you have to beg your mom and dad like to get something, but then eventually you grow up and then you can get them. But then while you have the chance to get them, they're not there anymore sometimes, right?
Exactly.
But the whole purpose of the pop culture market is like an open market for anybody, whatever you are into, like a kind of a. We have had people like selling jewelry, like bath bombs, like creams, lotions for face beauty, stuff like that, or anything like from clothing, like to video games, to VHS, Betamax even. At some point, actually, yeah, I saw Howard the Duck actually like a couple weeks ago on Betamax. Yeah.
That's a.
I'm mainly actually dedicated to the clothing and accessories kind of industry. That's how I started first, like a kind of selling t-shirts, long sleeves, shorts, anything related to metal, punk, goth, rock music, like stuff that is more like a kind of in the esoteric side. Or some popular kind of thing, but at the same time, like I had the opportunity actually of also be a little bit to expand a little bit more the taste of it, and I've been selling video games. I'm been selling also like a kind of toys, like I score like a entire like a Star Trek collection basically, and from there I'm being actually like getting more and more stuff like into it. And I mean, now, believe it or not, VHS actually, they're going like crazy, like for some reason. I just scored actually all these Disney movies recently, and I'm being putting them for sale, basically. Like, I host them actually, like, I started first doing it like once a month, but it used to be actually because I didn't have my own venue compared to now. But the thing is, I started in 2018, and I did it first in an art gallery, then I did it in another venue, and it wasn't something I wasn't really persistent on it at the time because I was having more issues on finding the right venue to do it. Then I came across this in Hollywood in 2019, and that's where I was doing it like every 2 months basically, right? But now that I have my own venue, I first started doing it like once a month. Even during the COVID times, we're only the few markets, one of the few markets who actually persisted, like by following all the regulations and all of that, right? We did it one way or the other, and then now that the weather is getting, well, we can say nicer in a way compared to what it was during the winter, and we are actually expanding it to twice a month.
If someone were to want to set up be a vendor here, how would they do that?
It's super simple. There's no need to fill up any applications, nothing of that. All you just do is contact me directly to Rodrigo Raquio on Facebook or anything like that, or search for the pop culture market, send me a direct link and like a kind of to your items. So just say, hey, my name is this and that, and this is what I'm promoting, and this is what I want to sell. Like, what does it take to be a vendor? And all I say is like basically you just can book a spot for $30 and I supply you the table and the chairs, right? And the space and all of that. And yeah, like it's super simple basically. That's what exactly inspired me to start this, because I noticed like sometimes I wanted to be part of a market, and some markets they require too many things in order like to take part of it. And trust me, like that's where basically made me think like first of all like okay, I want to help out other people out there to make things a little bit much easier, right? But it's getting there. We're getting a certain sense of popularity, not like a massive popularity that we're gonna have like a full house or anything, but the name is getting out there.
I sort of sell like stuff I've collected, plus a few friends have said, like, try and sell our stuff too. So we do these sort of events, and you hope to move, like, I guess, toys and collectibles. And you know what? It's fun.
Yeah.
You meet people. You in a COVID world, you get out.
Yeah.
Luckily we're not in masks today, but
yeah, right.
But yeah, but it's been fun, and I hooked up with Rodrigo, I guess, a few months ago, and he's trying to do this, I guess, every once a month or twice a month, and we're trying to get this going, and again, and sell some product and have some fun.
Well, I have black velvet paintings. I have black velvet blacklight paintings.
Okay.
I have blacklight fishes. I wanted to build a tiki bar.
Okay.
And then somebody said, well, you need some more decorations. So I just decided I would start decorations. And actually I have one, sort of give you an idea. These are just tiki things that I made molds of. I'm here at least once a month, and soon I will have new stuff.
Excellent.
And everything from say $15 for a small picture to $25 for the larger ones. You know, $10 for the fishes, and whatever you want to give me for that.
It's a matter of persistence, right? Like, you gotta be persistent in everything you do. Like, no matter how hard it is in the beginning, like, kind of course, like, we're gonna go, like, a kind of a kicking stones in the beginning. Like, you know, you're gonna go through potholes and all of that, but at the same time, that shouldn't stop from you, like, in advancing a while or believing in exactly what you're trying to promote or sell out there, right? Yeah. So I always tell vendors, like, if you go with expectations, be ready for disappointments. But if you go with no expectations, be ready for surprises. It's not just a hype. It's a steady thing. I'm gonna continue with this thing until my end of days, basically. I'm just gonna, like, you just gotta persist, and that's my motto. And this is gonna go on until I be standing on the surface of the earth, basically, right?
Thank you, Stephen. So if you're interested in these sales, but you've missed these two, as obviously I recorded them in the past, here are some ways that you can get access to them before the next one. You can find Rodrigo and his market on June 11th. The market will most likely run on Saturdays throughout the summer and fall at the same location, and most likely run at the same time. If you're looking for more details about it, you can check out their Facebook page, The Pop Culture Market, for more updates and info. In terms of community garage sales, similar to the City Kids fundraiser, there will be a large sale at Bayfront Park on June 25th. Details will come up as we get closer to that date, so check out community calendars and I'll probably see you there. Additionally, you could always just check out Kijiji for more sales that are happening. Most people tend to advertise their garage sales on there, and it's probably the best online source for advertising, buying, and selling used goods in town. There are also a bunch of buy and sell groups on Facebook, such as the Hamilton Buy and Sell, Hamilton Garage Sales, as well as the Town-wide Garage Sales in Ontario page, which links you to when local towns are hosting community garage sales. And now with that out of the way, I'm in the process of planning what I'm going to be doing for summer, which is... not that. Most likely we'll be playing video games and watching TV. So for those who are interested in what I'm hoping to watch on TV, here's some of the hottest new shows that I think are going to be of interest that I'm just going to give you my first impression of. Obviously, I hadn't seen the full season of these shows, so take these impressions as a subjective grain of salt. But without further ado, let's move on to the first hot ticket, which is the Star Wars show, Obi Wan Kenobi. For those who are unaware, Disney Plus made a new show based off the classic Star Wars character, Obi Wan Kenobi, the wise Jedi Master who trains Luke and actually trains Anakin Skywalker, otherwise known as Darth Vader, who was played by Alec Guinness and Ewan McGregor. The show reprises McGregor's role as Obi-Wan and is set 10 years after the events of Star Wars Episode 3, when Anakin became Darth Vader, Luke and Leia are born and then separated at birth, and Obi-Wan went into hiding on Tatooine after the Republic turned the Empire and now turned evil, slaughtered all the Jedi. This show has a lot of potential to be quite good as it bridges the gap, part of the gap between Episode 3 and Episode 4, the prequels and the originals. There's a lot that could have happened and a lot of questions many of us are thinking to ourselves that could be answered in this, such as what did Obi-Wan do in the 19 years? What did Darth Vader do in those 19 years? And how has the world changed for the worse in that time? The animated series, both Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars Clone Wars, do a good job of expanding the universe and giving us exactly those kinds of answers. Having another show continue to bridge the time gap can be exciting and can help us appreciate the characters that we've grown to love. It can also be heavily damaging and world-breaking as the creator of these shows aren't George Lucas and might not follow the exact line of logic that he had created when he was doing the prequels and the originals. As you know, I'm quite critical of the sequel trilogy for a plethora of reasons, but one such reason is how they treated the original creations of the main stars, those being Luke, Han, and Leia. Turning Luke from a hopeful farm boy into a miserable curmudgeon because he thought his nephew had bad thoughts is quite a swerve in the wrong direction. Han Solo being kind of useless and Leia becoming a space-floating Jedi is also not something anyone had on their Star Wars bingo cards. Another thing that'd be quite damaging is that in this 19-year gap, we know that Anakin, or Darth Vader, and Obi-Wan don't die. They exist in the original films. So If there's ever like a life-threatening situation or scenario, well, you know what the outcome is. It's kind of one of the shortcomings of the Han Solo origin story, where they would have these grand scenes that made it seem like Han Solo is going to perish, but of course he doesn't, because he's alive in the chronological future. Keep this in mind when the show does bring up scenarios where they have original trilogy characters who are on the verge of death or their lives are threatened. When Luke's tied up above a meat grinder or whatever, you know that he's not going to die. They're just playing it up for cheap dramatics. However, overall, I am optimistic about this because Ewan McGregor has been quite vocal throughout the years about his enthusiasm to reprise his role as Obi Wan. And he sounds quite happy with the end result of this show, unlike how Mark Hamill was, who was quite negative about the end result with Luke. 3 episodes have aired so far, so if you're interested and are a Disney Plus member, the show's out and available, and you can watch it. The second series that I have a connection to and I intend to watch throughout is Season 4 of Stranger Things, the mystery sci-fi show that's about the 80s and will remind you constantly that it is the 80s in a notably consumerist way. If it sounds like I'm being quite cynical about this, it's because I've taken the wool off my eyes, and I see the show for the truth that it is. A decent mystery drama that masks its mediocrity with flashes of cultural flair to make it seem like it's more impressive than it actually is. Don't get me wrong, Season 1 of the show was amazing, and one of the strongest seasons of any television I've seen. A lost child drama where a pile of nerdy kids try to get to the bottom of why their friend disappeared, and who this mysterious bald girl is, while Winona Ryder goes crazier by the day trying to understand where her son is something that connects with a lot of people, and it's something that you can just have set or filmed in any era or time period. The 80s aesthetic was the icing on the cake. Although applied quite liberally, it worked to service the plot. But as the seasons kind of went on, it seemed like they kept applying more and more icing as the cake became less cake and more icing. Season 3 was definitely the sign that the show was losing creative and narrative steam and kept applying that icing. The icing on the icing, for me, was when Dustin needed to contact his summer camp girlfriend over the ham radio that he built, and the only way for her to help them is if he sings a cover of the Never-Ending Story theme, because it's their song. Contrived plot point aside, you know why they're doing it. You know exactly why they spent so long singing the Never-Ending Story. It's because it's a very popular song that a lot of people like from the 80s. It's nostalgic. It's something that we remember. The good times, the this, the that. Need a new character? Why just shove Sean Astin in? And he's working at Radio Shack. Remember Radio Shack? Remember Sean Astin when he was a kid in the 80s? Remember? Oh, the 80s were great. Anyway, it's a personal grievance of mine, and I understand if people can see past it. It's something that you probably should see past if you intend to enjoy things. But I get quite defensive when I know I'm being pandered to. Studios and shows like this know that our generation like this kind of, attention to throwing in things that used to be good, things that are popular, to make the show seem like it's good and that we believe that the show is critically acclaimed, when in truth, they're just copying or just applying something that was already good and not creating anything new. It's a complete void of creativity, and it's cheap. They're just abusing our own minds and desire for the good old times. I really don't see how Season 4 won't just be something we've already seen before. Since it's set in high school, I bet it'll have inspiration from Breakfast Club or Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or any of those coming-of-age films set in high school. The show's already heavily taken inspiration from Stand By Me and its coming-of-age theming. It's only fair that they move on to high school stories. And don't get me wrong, these are all good films, just that they already existed. Make something new without them. Those are the 2 newest and hottest shows that have just come out, and I know that there are other things that have come out that I've missed, like Dune, or things that are going to happen in the future. I think that's a good send-off to this season. I want to thank you so much for watching Hammer D20 and everything that I've done. It's been a fun season to work on as I've been expanding into more personal diatribes and media analysis. It's something that I love doing. If I had an open ear for every rant and grievance that I had, I'd be a happy man, or at least a less miserable man. I mean, that's what the show's been like for me, a mouthpiece for me to voice my grievances. If I can make something out of this, being a critic of media, I mean, it's not the worst thing to do for a living. I'll keep trying to cover Hamilton's nerd scene, but since I've covered so much of it, I'd rather not trample over something I've covered before. You might see me covering more and more shows and movies like I've been doing so far, so if you like that, keep an eye out for the newest episodes. I know the Hamilton Comic-Con is coming up this year, so keep an eye out for that at least next season. Beyond that, thank you for watching. I want to give a bit of a special thanks to my parents for taking the time to always watch it and support my show, and whenever they have the time to watch the show, they try to. My Baba Sofia, who is my biggest fan and always tries to watch the show, whether she understands what I'm talking about or not. And one of my best friends, George, who always comes back to me later on social media, on Facebook, saying, "Oh, I love your show, I love talking about that," and we kind of rekindle the conversation that I was having in the show. I guess since I brought him up, I may as well at least give a quick shout out to George and the band he's a part of, Down for Anything. George has been into music for as long as I've known him, and he's played music locally. He's recently joined a local alt-rock band, Down for Anything, and has been playing with them since March. They recently applied to 97.7 Hits FM, Rock Search, and have made the competition's top 8. They're playing this Friday, June 3rd at Warehouse in St. Catharines to see if they're going to be moving on to the next round. Obviously, the concert will have happened before this episode is aired, but if you do keep an eye out for Down for Anything on their Facebook page or their social media, you can see where their progress is made or where they're performing next. I think that'll be the send-off that I need to tell you. Thank you so much for watching. Again, have a great summer looking for deals and listening to great music. See you later. I like that.